everybody, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Chamber of Skulls. So, 5 people answered my questionnaire yesterday about which box I should open up. 4 which actually left me an answer. 1 was undetermined. And unfortunately, we were evenly split down the middle. 2 said they wanted A, 2 said they wanted B. But I did have one viewer made a good point that he wanted to see something a little less traditional on the human skull type and step out of that boundary a little bit, which thankfully I do have that. Now, it is still a human skull, but it's not your atypical. This one here, if you've seen those pictures many times where you have a person staring into a mirror and it looks like the whole image of the skull, but you look at it, it's an image of somebody staring in the mirror, or you have an image of somebody with their knees kind of bent up and their legs half forward, bent over, and it gives that skullish image, those kind of illusional pictures. This falls into that category, where when you look at it directly, you can see the full skull straight up, but if you glance at it, or if you don't pay attention to it that well, it can look like one of those illusion styled things. So with that out of the way, let's open this bad boy up and let's see what box B brings us. And I want to take this time while we're opening this to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to respond. I wasn't quite sure which one I wanted to do, and this way this gives me a chance to interact with you guys a little bit more and give you the opportunity to actually be a part of the channel as well. So as you can see, like I said in my video yesterday where I asked for your help, the box isn't exactly what it appears to be. No, I mean, realistically, there's not a whole lot of difference here. We got height is slightly higher, width is slightly different, length is slightly different. So we're not looking at a big difference in size here like I thought it might be. So unfortunately, with skulls, it's not something you can just rip apart and tear into and come out with a presentable piece. It's something that you have to be careful about what you're doing so you don't break the little bastard. And after you get through all these boxes and all this packaging, you walk out with something that is tremendously smaller than the box makes it look. Now, as I had said in my video yesterday, that I wanted to go for something, as a previous viewer had said, what the hell is all over my turntable? As a viewer had previously said, they're looking for something more in the fang department. What the hell is all over my table? But they're looking for something in the fang department. Now, I'm sure they were thinking more like animalistic, but this is one of those that I saw, I've actually had in my wish list on Amazon for a couple of months. But I didn't want to do a whole bunch of something in the same category. Like my first video was about the demon. Just got that skull, brought it onto the channel as my very first one. And there was something sticky on this table. What the hell is going on? And this one falls under the demon as well. Now, it's a much different demon. It's not your basic, ordinary demon skull. This one is very, very unique, in my personal opinion. It's something that haven't seen in any other collector's collection, and it's just one of those pieces that stands out, which is exactly what I love about it. I love that standout theme. So I can't go on and describe your atypical skull as I do in the normal, as I've chosen this one for the viewer who wanted to get outside your atypical symmetrical skull. So I can't sit here and say, oh yeah, this and that, and all the other typical bullshit that I go through as I review it. But when you look at it, the sculpt is great. The only real problem I could probably have with it is those fangs. I don't know if they're too long, if it's the angle that they come in. Maybe it's the fact that that bottom jaw is a lot longer, which I'm sure it was intended to give it a base to sit on. But when you look at it like at a side angle here, and you see how the top jaw stops right here, and if you were to shut his mouth, he would have a major underbite. I think that's what it is when the lower jaw sticks out further. And so that would lead his fangs into piercing his jaw. But like I said, I'm sure the sculptor designed everything here for the purpose, having the jaw as part of the base so it'll stand up properly. And everything is just part of that whole spook factor. So, I mean, when you look at it in an entirety, it looks great. But if you try to piece it together and look at it in realism, yeah. Another thing too, which I kind of get a kick out of, if you look at him heads on, tell me he does not look like a really pissed off Yoda. Joined the much darker dark side. He went and surpassed the Dark Siths, the Dark Vaders, the Dark Lords, whatever the hell. I'm not a Star Wars fan, as you can tell. But yeah, he kind of looks like a really, really pissed off, demonic Yoda with those ears and just everything there. As I'm sitting there looking at this, I kind of picked that up. So I'm going to end you guys here, give you guys a close-up as typical. Let me know what you think of this one. Hopefully, this stands out far enough away from the atypical human skull, and you enjoy this video as well. And hopefully the fangs are suitable. I really don't know if you were looking for, like I said, something more animalistic, or if this is something you were looking for in the fang department, or what it is. But if you have any special requests for me, feel free to drop it in the comment section below, and I will try my best to fulfill your wish. After all, this channel is yours just as much as it is mine. So with that said, you guys have a great night. Have a skulltastic weekend, and I will see you next week.